Good morning, and welcome to the morning market report. Piper is out again this week. He is off exploring some islands in the Caribbean, so hopefully he's having a great vacation. Looking like OC is busy this morning. He had a meeting with the Chart Prime team. He said he might be able to come in about 30 minutes late. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he shows up today. Because we were talking about some things last night when we saw some market shakeup. We'll get into some of that here in a little bit. But we've got a whole lot to go over this morning. A little bit of market movements, a little bit of news. We also got a lot of people here in the chat this morning. I see Alex O Crypto just sent the whole otter gang over. So if you got those otters, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Let's get that screen share pulled on up here. We can also see the chat in the background. Oh, I guess it didn't have my screen share on there. There we go. Got the chat in the background as well. Let's see who's in here this morning before we start diving on in, see what's going on. We got Mike Volmer first in the house this morning. We've got Alexandra G. It looks like she got hurt over the weekend. She is going to get her wrist checked out. So, thoughts and prayers to Alexander G. Hopefully everything is okay with that one. She will let me know. Hopefully we can see her in the chats a little bit later. We got You Know What It Is in the house, Crypto Coin Mindset. We got Broken Oshi, no dinero in here. We got Robert Mulligan. We've got Donato Cabrera in the house. Good morning, good morning. Let's scroll on that. We got Crypto Princess in here. Good morning, good morning. Let's see, we got Mike Play, L. Jones in the house. Good morning to both of you. We got Lunar Beaches Crypto in the house. We got Chart Sand in the house, and Ada Ace sliding on in here. Bearded Mac Mike as well. Good morning to all of you. Hope you're having a great day so far. It's been a very interesting Monday so far. Let's dive into some of what we're seeing here on the TradFi side, because we got a little bit of a shakeout, starting to see just a little bit of some recovery here on some of these assets. We've got Apple up 2% right now, Nvidia sitting down 1.26, Berkshire Hathaway sitting a little bit in the green, looking a little bit neutral for now, up 2.1%. Amazon up 2.2. We've got Eli Lilly up 1.18. ExxonMobil sitting to the downside. I saw someone talking about some Venezuelan news and about the oil in the chat. We will get to that tomorrow. We had a bunch of news already lined up for the show today. We've got Tesla down 2.48. P&G sitting up 0.65. Microsoft, after a very big shakeout last week, sitting in the neutral range, up 0.06. We've got Google up 1.8 and Meta sitting down 1.08 this morning. Hopping over to the crypto side of things, we've got a bit of a shakeout over there as well. Looks like I clicked on the wrong screen. Let's get the right one pulled on up here. Which one was it? This one here. We've got our crypto bubbles sitting a little bit with a mixed market this morning. Hype sitting up 4.2%. We called out some bouncing levels last week to keep your eye on here. On the hourly, starting to see just a little bit of green, but we've got Bitcoin down 0.3% on the daily, Ethereum down 2.2. We've got BNB sitting up 0.1, looking a little bit neutral. We've got XRP up 0.6, but starting to shed a little bit on the hourly there. We've got Solana down 1%, Tron sitting down 0.9. We've got Dogecoin sitting up 0.9, up 0.3 on the hourly. I know we had OC calling out some of those meme coins last week, so might need to take a look at that one there. We've got Cardano up 8% right now, Bitcoin Cash up 0.4, Leo token sitting down 2.1. We've got Hyperliquid up 4.2, like I was saying. Chainlink down 8% right now, $9.67. Jesus, we were hearing all the crazy call outs for Chainlink a long time ago, not getting anywhere close to any of those. So we got Stellar Lumens up 2.3% and Litecoin Number 21, losing a few positions in that market cap, up 0.7. We've got the fear and greed meters looking a little bit greedy over on the stock side still. 57, no change from last week. And we've got the crypto side of things still sitting in some extreme fear. Not too surprising on that, especially after the little bit of a dip that we saw there. Getting over to our liquidation heat map, we've still got a little bit of liquidity underneath us. Can definitely come back down and grab some of this up here. We were calling out some of these areas before. This is 73 400 all the way down here to about 68,000. We are extremely close to that area. Kind of keep your eye on that there. Zooming on in, taking a look at this 1 week though, we've got quite a bit of liquidity back up at that $85,000 mark. We do need to reclaim some areas as some support before we can get back up there to really grab up some of that liquidity. So we'll have to keep our eyes on some of our more local ranges to see if we can turn some areas back into some support. We did have quite a bit of liquidity directly towards the upside that we've started to grab a little bit more, residing just underneath that $80,000, and that's going to be about 79,800. So keep your eyes on that. We can definitely finish grabbing up some of that top side, and then we'll have to see if we can turn an area into some support. Let's hop on over to that economic calendar because we did have some things to talk about there as well. ISM manufacturing PMI this morning came out quite positive. We had 4.79 for that prior, 52.6 for the actual forecast. Was a little bit up from prior, quite a bit higher. When you're above that 50, it is a little bit bullish. So keep our eyes on this. We still do have some other data coming out this week that could shake this up just a little bit. Jobs data going to be coming out tomorrow that we really need to keep our eyes on. We will get to the rest of that in just a second. We did have that Bitcoin chart to go over, so let's get this full screen, hide that over there, and get on over to Bitcoin because we will talk about gold a little bit later. Nice little dump on that, pretty much close to some levels we had been calling out. We did talk about some levels here on Bitcoin to kind of keep your eye on last week, and one of those was going to be the 382. Once we dropped below it, we wanted to see if we could get back above it and hold that as support. If we could not hold that as some support, the first area that we were looking to keep our eyes on was about 80,600. Could not hold that as some support either and came all the way back down to 74,500. This is a level I've had marked for quite a while. It was support back here, and it was also the resistance last time. So definitely a key area that we have held as support for now. We will kind of have to see if we can continue with a little bit of money flow here on the shorter term time frame that ends up bleeding over into this higher term time frame, really give us that push back to 80,600. Like I was calling out, we have a little bit of liquidity in that area. We've got a little bit up back at the 382 as well. We do need to get back above that 80,600 first before we can start to grab up some of that liquidity at the 382 though. We are starting to see a few worrisome signs here on the daily as your money flow has switched from green to red here. Keep your eyes on some of that. If we get that continuation of some sell pressure here on the higher term time frame, I would look for that 80,600 to come in as some resistance and this to be our new little range. We are seeing a few bottoming signs here on the daily time frame. We will kind of have to see if we can get a few more of those to flash. For now, it does look like that sell pressure is in control. We are starting to see a little bit of sideways momentum on that MACD, but nothing too crazy just yet. Let's zoom that in. Take a look at the 4-hour here. As you can see, we've got a nice little recovery, really seeing our top side candles come in as some resistance for now. That's 78 800. Keep your eyes on some of that as we continue to lose our money flow here on the 4 hour. That is going to be our big concern. If that rolls over into that daily term time frame, that 80,600 is going to be a strong resistance level. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at that hourly here. See what's going on. As you can see, we've bumped up against our local resistance here quite a bit. We will kind of have to see if we can get a little switch of our money flow here. We did get a slow up on some of the sell pressure and saw some of our volume switching from red to green here, but not looking like we're seeing an absolute shift from our bearish sentiment. We do have those lower lows still coming on in and those lower highs as well. So don't fade this trend too much. We do need a giant switch of our money flow, and we're not seeing that just yet. So a lot of bearishness here, seeing a little bit of sideways momentum coming in on those oscillators as well. Really struggling to break above that zero line on the MACD. We do need to break above that local resistance first, but we're starting to see that rollover of money flow here on the hourly as well. So if we can get a little bit of a push of money flow in at 80,600 would be that first area. I'd kind of look for a rejection, see if we can turn some of that 78,800 area into some support for a little bit of a continuation back up to the 382 there. Let's get over to some of this news. We had quite a bit to talk about this morning. Wrong one. There we go. First, here on this week, we have quite a bit of data to go over. We went over that ISM manufacturing PMI data, a little bit positive for the morning. Tomorrow, we have JOLTS jobs opening for December. This is a little bit delayed there, especially with the government shutdown. And we've got the partial government shutdown right now. We'll get more into that one tomorrow because there was already a bunch of news to talk about today. For Wednesday, we also have Google earnings looking very similar to what we were looking for on Microsoft. They've been spending a bunch of money on AI data centers and not seeing a big return just yet. So could get a big drop on Google as well. Kind of the same thing we're looking for Amazon on Thursday. A lot of money been being dumped into these data centers and not seeing a big return just yet. So that does have the market in a big worry. That is also on top of the shift that we might be seeing from our Federal Reserve. Initial jobless claims coming out on Thursday as well. That'll be a very big data drop to keep your eyes on. We've also got January jobs report on Friday. So a big jobs numbers week. This could give the market a very, very big shakeup. So keep your eyes on that data this week. A lot of those will be morning drops. We did have some gold and silver to go over this morning. A big part of the reason that we saw that big, heavy drop during that Asia session yesterday was because the CME hiked margins. This is them playing with that paper market. A lot of the reason that we've been seeing the big push here on gold and silver is not because of the actual physical gold and silver. A lot of this has been because of the paper trading. So you normally only see those harsh drops because of the futures market if you're not actually in a recession. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. Nice little spot to get back in. I know OC was calling out some other spots this weekend. We will see if he has some time to go over that chart. I did see this one as well. This is coming as AI has been extremely big. We've been seeing a big push on our precious metals because of the chips that are needed to make the Blackwell chips for AI. MIT looking like they're trying to make a new chip here, all silicon. We will kind of have to see if this makes a big push. A lot of that is using heat to direct with silicon. So we will see if that gets anywhere in the AI space. That would kind of lower some of those pressures on the precious metals and might cause a little bit of a dip. But this is brand new technology. It would take a little bit of time to see that get into the markets. We also did see this as well. US futures and world shares slip as worries over Trump's Fed chair chief pick up and AI weighs on the market. A lot of this was what I was just talking about in that about AI just a second ago. But getting a little bit further into this, that Fed chair that we talked about last week being a little bit hawkish, more in line with what Trump was wanting to see from the Fed. Heavier cuts, especially when you're seeing inflation be extremely high, is not overwhelmingly positive for the markets in the short term. The one part that would be overwhelmingly positive is that he doesn't want to do QE, meaning no new money into these markets. It would just be cheaper to borrow the money. Hopefully, this actually speeds up some of the velocity of money and we actually start to see the economy do a little bit better. This would also help with some of that inflation without actually causing too many other problems. We will keep our eyes on that. New Fed chair coming soon. We have Strategy acquiring 855 Bitcoin. This is on top of them hitting their cost basis. With that dip to $74,000 we saw over the weekend, they were at their cost basis. Their average entry price is around that $74,000 mark, which is quite interesting as we will be seeing them have a bunch of convertible bonds maturing in 2027 as price continues to find its bottom. So interesting times for Microstrategies, and we'll have to watch this one further, especially since all of their Bitcoin is on their balance sheet. Could be an interesting time for them in the bear market in 2027. For now, looking like they're going to continue buying Bitcoin as it goes down. Would like to see them have bigger Bitcoin purchases, more of a dynamic strategy, but looks like they're not following the Piper Academy's dynamic DCA plan. If you're not a member of the Piper Academy, that link is above. It's $5 a month. We've got a great DCA strategy. Getting into this one as well. This was quite interesting. This talked about the breakdown of ETF buying and Bitcoin's price basis once we get a little bit lower. Not seeing the Bitcoin holders really shaken out at that $43,000 mark, but potentially seeing a lot of new people that would be stepping into the market, not stepping in, which is something we're used to here. We've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, I wish I bought Bitcoin at $4,000. Yet when we saw Bitcoin hit $100,000 and we were talking about Bitcoin at $40,000, they didn't buy then either. So looking like Bitcoin going to be taking that same kind of movements where people FOMO, but they don't actually FOMO. They just talk about how they wish they bought at some key levels. But when we see that massive dip over 50%, they still won't buy some Bitcoin. So nothing new on that one. Like I've talked about before, the ETFs aren't really new money. It is old money that used to buy through other exchanges or people that have held Bitcoin and just want a little more safety, selling their Bitcoin and then moving over to the ETFs. We've just widened the spigot. It's not a whole bunch of new money, and the money is acting like we've normally seen Bitcoin money act through our traditional means, through your Coinbase, through Kraken. All of these ETFs have been moving exactly the same. So, no surprise that they might act exactly the same when we get to those bear market bottoms and they don't buy. So, let's hop on over to some of these charts. We did have a few things to go over this morning, like gold and silver. We also got some time to go over some alt requests this morning. So if you have anything that you would like to see looked at, go ahead, throw that in the chat, and we will get to that in just a little bit. Let's hop on over to that gold chart and see what was going on. We had a few levels that we were looking at for some potential support. these were going to be some gaps. They ended up getting filled with that giant drop towards the bottom side, and we came extremely close to a level that we had looked at before. That was $4,382. Got within a few dollars of that, and then started to see a little bit of a reversal here. Move back through that platinum pocket area, back up towards our golden pocket, and we'll have to see if we can get back above $4,780. That is that golden pocket area. We are potentially looking for some resistance there. If we can get back above there, I would look closer to that 50% line, $4,944, to see if we can find a little bit of a range here. We are still seeing plenty of positive news here on the higher term time frame. Let me get that demonstration tool pulled on up. As you can see, we still got very green money flow here. Did see a little bit of some curvature there, not to unexpected with that harsher drop back down. But here on the shorter term time frame, we're starting to see some very good signs. We did see that golden pocket come in as resistance, like I was saying, but we are holding the top side of this gap here. So trying to make another little push back up towards that golden pocket, see if we can reclaim some of that levels. Seeing a little bit of sideways momentum in this area would be nice. We would get that continuation of a cool off here to see if we can get that pushback above our golden pocket, make those moves back towards all-time highs here. We often see gold have these nice corrections, pushbacks to our trend lines to really cool down some of that parabolic moves that it does. So it can go parabolic all over again, especially with a lot of what we're seeing on the more macro side, the geopolitical tensions, all of this. That is a lot of pressure on gold towards the upside. And seeing these nice cool offs gives it that ability to go parabolic all over again. We're starting to see a little bit of sideways momentum here on that 4 hour. We do have a lack of money flow, so that is the only concern here. As our volume is quite low, we could very easily get that shift all over again. Keep your eye on that golden pocket. We do need to reclaim that. As you can see here on that hourly, we got those very equal candle bodies on top of that. Push back to our gap, held the top side of it. Still seeing just a little bit of some sell pressure here, already getting that curvature here on that prime oscillator. MACD also running a little bit sideways here. So looking like this could be our next little sideways range before we try to make that next little push back up towards the upside. We got Crypto Blood in the house this morning. Good morning, sir. Hope you're having a great Monday, taking advantage of all of this hectic times in the market. We gotta love that volatility because that's how we make our money here. We got OC sliding on in. Oh boy. Good morning, sir. Let's get over to that two-person screen. Let me get you actually swapped out for that one. Oh, no. Replace. There we go. Gotcha on there. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. What a ride last night, wasn't it? What was it? 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m.? What time was it? Like
It
that
was
we were looking at it?
it was like 12:30 for me. I had
Oh,
just
it
got
was
home from
12:30.
work and you were like, "Look at gold." And I was like, "Holy crap." So I looked at silver and I was like, whoa, it went through pretty much all of the levels that I had looked for and was very, very close to that last little support area that I was kind of hoping to see there. So I know I teased a few of that, those chats at the beginning of the show, talked about some of the gold levels that you were calling out. So did you end up getting some entries?
Oh yeah, baby. I did, man. So I just closed right now. Right before entering, I closed one. We were at 3.85%, and that is because I see a little bit of a reversal. If you want me, we can go into the charts and maybe I can show off a little bit of what I had.
Sounds good. I was just calling out that gold move actually. So let's see what
Nice.
you got on some gold, sir.
Absolutely. So yesterday, I mean, well, not yesterday, it was Friday. I was actually calling out for a long entry right in here. It went up great throughout the weekend or throughout the week. That went back down. Perfect. I also called out this one on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and check out Friday the 30th. Yeah, no, Monday. What? Oh, okay, Monday, Friday. Here it is. So here it goes. So it stopped me out right here on this exact trade. And then as we were going downwards on Sunday, sorry. Well, right there is where we caught it. This was my entry right here. And let me bring up a couple of things that I actually posted for the inside team of Chartprime and for that, just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective. Let me show you really quickly. So right here on the team in the main chat, let me bring this up. Yesterday, there we go. This is what we were looking at. We were actually looking at 12 a.m. And I was mentioning, hey, we were hitting those alerts at 4,472. I caught it so slightly below that. And well, then that was a pretty fantastic trade on the way down. This is a daily, just so you guys are looking at here. And well, then that play out very, very nicely. This is 4 hours. So let me go ahead. Remember, this is what we were looking at. This was my entry. And today I close it out right before we jump into the charts. And I mean, right here with you guys. And that is because look at that. We have a rejection candle in here, right? We are below that zero line. We are below dynamic reactor. We already have crossed that blue line. So for me, we might be able to have maybe a sweep of the lows, maybe going even lower, and then start creating a reversal pattern. So nonetheless, I did enter with $1,000 position yesterday night for this quick long. It was at 1x, so I did just like what is it, $39, not much. And well, but we did just a little bit, and then I had another bigger position that is for my DCA. Just so you know, that is a little bit higher. That's a 3x, and I know a DCA at 3x is not DCA, right? But I'm looking. But well, it is what it is. I need to be completely honest with you guys, and I'm bringing this up so you guys know exactly when we start pulling out those little cards. I said, hey, your winnings are, you know, when things are matching. But that's basically what I got so far. I was not looking at your analysis. Let me know, man. Fill me in. What are you looking at? What do you see? What happened yesterday night?
Well, so a lot of that was from the futures market. We saw a little bit of a change on the CME margins, but I'd called out a gap before, way from back here, when we got a nice little push towards the upside. And for now, we've been holding that. So I'm kind of looking at a potential sideways range for here. We are seeing a shift in the volume, but not a shift in the money flow here on the hourly. We've still got a little bit of a red candle, a red diamond here on the hourly. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Could just get a nice little sideways range here between our platinum pocket and our golden pocket. That'd give us a nice little continued cool down on that hourly. So really need to get above back above this golden pocket, like I was saying, to really see that next little parabolic push towards the upside. So that would be my next little entry point. If we can get that nice little break above, really hold our higher low, and then to make another higher high above in this golden pocket area, that's kind of where I was looking for an entry. So I
Nice.
did want I did want to talk about silver because I called out silver last week, and we got extremely close to that level that I was looking for. Called out 77, and we dropped a little bit further below that. Saw that zero line come in on our fib extensions as our support level. That was $70. And in our chat last night, I had said, I was like, looks like $70 to about $66 would be that next little nice entry point. That's pretty much exactly where we got that bounce. Saw our 382 though come in. Oop, wrong button there. Saw that 382 coming as a little bit of resistance. We're now losing that 77 all over again. So, like you were saying, there is a little bit of concern there. So, if we don't hold our zero line, that next little area for entry would be about $66 on silver. Hourly looking a little bit iffy there. We are starting to see just a little bit of some bottoming here on the 4 hour, but you're also losing your money flow. So we want to see some sort of switch in the money flow, really maintain a higher low here. If we're not seeing that higher low, looking back down to 66 would be that kind of area to keep your eyes on. You got any crypto for the people this morning, OC?
Let's go. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Oh
Let me get
man.
your screen share up here.
Absolutely. So I have prepared a couple of things in here to my right, and these are the alerts that we had, right? Of course, 4,488.48. Our first alert, right? And right below our next alert on gold, that was yesterday. So that was a great entry. So we caught that up. Let's go take a look at Rose because Rose, it's a little bit of a puzzle here, right? On Rose, we were talking about this area. Let's go for that 0.1623. So that is 16. Where is it? A little bit lower? 23 right here, 21, 23. So basically look at that, the very, very, very bottom at this area. So we come back down once, and that was on the 31st. All right. And then coming again for the second part. So if you took this alert that we set up earlier, that was Friday, if I'm not mistaken, great. This would have been a movement to the upside. I was expecting a little bit of a bigger retracement up, but it is what it is. Right now, we are back on that double bottom, and we have a much better projection in here. And that is because we at this point should be looking for a more greener shading here, right? So, and once we start getting those greener shades, well, that's when we start looking for that next long. Nonetheless, if you re-enter or if you move your stop to entry, be patient because this stopped you out for some reason, and we need to wait for the breakout. Because if this start ranging, here's the deal, easy peasy. If this ranges, all right, and we reject out of the zero line, this is going down. Okay, as easy as that. Right now we have a trend line. So the bullish scenario, which guys, basically, and let me just bring up the discussion with you, my friend. I believe that we have almost confirmed the bear market, like for sure, right? I mean, we went way below on Bitcoin of what we should have, and we haven't had a V-shaped recovery. So at this point, the next recovery might be either a flat plus a bearish continuation or a bounce for a continuation downwards, all right? So be extremely careful with altcoins. If we break this trend line, all right, like to the upside, and then we take this high, come back down, support, break to the zero line, we are bullish. That's it. Either this or that, right? So remember, the most dangerous thing will be ranging and not breaking through that zero line right down below. So be very, very, very careful. Let me make this once again so we have a clean picture of what's going on. If we reject and we range, we are continuing downwards, all right? And then let me just change the color of this. So let's put it green. If we break above this high, we reject, stay above, well, then we are bullish till our next smart money entry, which is somewhere around 0.2166. So that also means breaking through that zero line, something like that. All right. So keep those in mind for Rose. AVAX was another one that it has a breakout. So we were looking at a possible long in here, stopped out on that one. That's cool. Remember, we buy the bottoms, all right? Even if it breaks out, great, let it break out. That's why we're using stop loss. We wait for the retest. And if we reject out of this area, let's get it. That's going to be a movement to the downside. If we have acceptance, which we don't have just yet, if we have acceptance back above that line, so if we have this, well, then we are going to be hitting the top of that range. But we're not there yet. Finally, Monero. Monero, I was expecting or looking for this possibility. Remember, Kamikaze short. Look at that. What happened? Pretty nice short. Then took us out. That's fine. It's just part of the trade. Remember, this is where we take some profits. And then on the way down, I did not take the short. Regret it. Yeah, but the market is there. We are almost confirming bear market. So at this point, I'm looking for a possible rejection, and we'll have to see what happened here. So I'm not going to be calling out Monday entries so far. Maybe tomorrow, right after the storm has calmed a little bit. Let me go really quickly to Bitcoin. And here's when I want to open up the debate if we have a chance. And here it is. All right. So we have lost this low, and not for a little, right? Remember that for a wake of bullish reversal, bullish continuation, we are supposed to have a spring lower than the previous SC zone. Perfect. We had it lower. But how freaking low, man? I mean, it went to hit my almost no return point, right? Right here. Did I bought? Yes, I bought again. Remember, I have bought in here. I have bought in here. All right. So after that buying scenario for myself, all right. So right now, this is way too low way too high for it to actually do something like that. Can it still do it? Yes, it will be a pretty not normal scenario. It can still do it, but at this point, I believe that's hopium. I believe now that we're going to get something like that. And confirming the bear market for the next upcoming year. What are your thoughts, my friend? Are we on the bear market? I mean, of course, we haven't had the rejection confirmation, but are we that low that, the chances are that we are just confirming the bear market? Or do you think that we're going to get the long stick in this point and get a swing low? A swing high.
I mean, I would kind of say that this is pretty much confirmed bear market area. Uh, I had some levels a little bit higher than that, where I was like, if we break this, this is pretty much the bear market, and that was like $98,000. So that was a lot of our wicking action from back up at our upper range there. And I thought that if we broke that, there was pretty much no returning to that area. And when we broke that, that's when we got that heavy drop down to $80,000. So that was pretty much my view right there, that it's like, even though we haven't really structurally broke on the higher term time frame and mitigated our prior low that was down there at 74,000, it was pretty much bear market, because that 98 was our prior low. Let me get that pulled on up on my screen. So we have this prior low before we got that nice little push back up towards that 126,000. And my thought was that if we broke this low here, that it was pretty much over, and that there was no trying to push back up, because that was also mitigating our support line for this whole area. So this all to me has just been sideways before the bear market, which is what we normally get. Like, we've gotten it. Let me get it pulled back up here. This is historical. That's what we got here as well. We got some nice sideways momentum, not mitigating our low down here, but mitigating our low here before we really pushed low and mitigated our low there. So this is all very, very eerily similar to what we got last cycle, which is why I thought that if we mitigated 98,000, that it was pretty much bear market territory.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this bear market, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, guys at home. Remember, we trade the day, right? So it doesn't matter if it's bear market or bull market. As the thing moves, remember, we have a chance. You can see how we've been managing these bounces, the shorts, longs, DCA entries. Very, very, very important. For most professional traders, going DCA, it's the way because that's the way that you make your savings grow. And then throughout the day on day trading, you just apport that either day to day living profits or addition to your savings, right? So don't worry about it if you have a lot of Bitcoin or something like that. This is not financial advice, all right? But I would say, like, hey, hold it as much as you can and wait for the next cycle if you can afford that. All right. If not, make sure to sit down, set a spreadsheet. Remember, cut your losses and add to your winners. All right. So, or add to your gainers, and we'll keep on check that risk. In the meantime, we're gonna be leading just ever so slightly more to shorts than longs as we've been doing this past January. But so far, well, let's get it, baby. I am so prepared for this bear market, my friend, and so excited.
Oh, I'm ready for it too. I've got a bunch of money on the sidelines that I've been putting on the sidelines from, my stock investments, taking profits on my Bitcoin trades and things like that. So I've been stacking the money up, just slowly dripping it back into the market. Honestly, I slashed my normal DCA. Normally I would have DCA'd like $100 a week. I slashed it. It was like $25 a week. So that's what I've been doing. And then once we really mitigate that 74,500 area, I'm going to like double down. So that's when I'll put things back to that 100. And then once we get even lower, I'm going even harder. So really didn't want to mess too much in this area in case we did get that nice little push back up, break into our higher range. And then it's like, okay, well, why am I buying Bitcoin at 100 some odd $1,000?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you're spot on because, I mean, let's remember that we still have the MVP oscillator, right? So it makes sense to buy at the critical area where we were just a week ago, right? But not really push it so hard. I mean, that you are putting your money at risk, but just compensating for whatever the risk reward ratio was at the moment, right? The same thing I was doing on that zone, right? When we get to a support, I bought. When we got to another support, I bought and I totally made three purchases. And I also sliced down, not in amount, but in, I mean, not amount per trade, but in amount per of trade. So I did not DCA weekly, I DCA bi-weekly. And that, I mean, it's just effectively the same thing, right? And at that point, well, at this point that we have broken, well, I'm just stopping my DCA. And if the things start pushing back up, I just do the shorting or the longing, whatever the market's telling me to do. And after that, I'm gonna be waiting for the prime oscillator MVP oscillator to give me the signal. If you want, you can throw it over to my chart really quickly, and I can just keep a tap on where we are. So just in case you don't know, guys, well, remember, you can always click the gear icon, either the Pro or the Plus oscillator, and select your MVP oscillator. All right, so I believe I have it right here. Yep, I do. And remember, very, 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 very important, you need to be on the US dollar Bitstamp monthly. All right, that is it. And guess what we got on the monthly? Almost the first call out. So not because it's green, you buy on the first big green. So we are getting there, right? So just like in here, for example, let me actually show it up really quickly. And come on. This is it. Look at that. As we were breaking through, so that's why you don't long or you don't buy DCA on these shades, right? And then you wait. There you go for your very first bright candle on the monthly, and that's where you start again your DCA for the continuation upwards. So right now it's fairly interesting that we're having almost the same repetitive pattern as we have in here. Two bright candles. We'll have to see how that February month ends. And depending on how that ends, we will know if we're going to start our DCA back again in February or back above, or wait it out for a couple of other months. But so far, look at where that dynamic vector is at this point. It's somewhere around 48. I remember I always project this, right? So I always project it, not where is it right now, but where is it going to be? And for me, it's somewhere around 58, 60K. That aligns pretty much with this other line, previous highs, right? So I will be looking for that area to be kind of like the next entry point for my next DCA amount. But yeah, that's basically what I got on the MVP oscillator.
Well, and that's basically all we got for the show today. I'm glad you showed up today, OC. It was a little bit harder without you. You know, it's not the same without the Mexican spaghetti.
Appreciate you, my friend. You fill my heart, brother. Thank you so much.
Well, you're going live this evening, as always.
Yes. As
All right.
always, yes, I will be going live. Only Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, I have a medical appointment, nothing serious, just a quick checkout. And so I'm going to be taking this Thursdays off, just this upcoming Thursday and Friday. So just those 2 days because like insurance, I need to take those 2 days, to do a full checkout up and down. And just a quick reminder, guys, make sure you get your insurance up to date, especially your life insurance, your health insurance, and your home insurance.
Well, I will be going live this afternoon. I meant to go live Friday. My girl surprised me. I've been, working nights and she works during the day. So she took the Friday off and then surprised me. So we went to go do some stuff. But today, this afternoon, 1 p.m., keep your eyes tuned. I will be going live. New show called The Power Hour. But until then, make sure to trade safe. Use a few stop losses, protect your capital, and we will see you at the next one.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?